absolutely beautiful out here. Let's walk and talk. You guys know the story of Job, right? That upright man who was tortured. Although he was upright and righteous and doing everything right that followed the guidelines and alignment of God, he was still tortured. God let him sin, Satan, to take away everything he had because he wanted to test him. And I love this story because what I did love about the first part of that is, although, God, please teach me to be like Job, although all of his family, his kids died, his land was taken, like his cattle, everything, he lost everything. He had a terrible plague on him that gave him terrible boils. This grass is really wet. Ooh, it's going to be a wet morning. And he still did not curse God for bringing all these things to him. He still followed him and did everything. And then he let him go again. And Job started to complain and curse God. He wanted to talk to God and ask him, why is he doing these things to me? You know, he really wanted to have a talk with him and God. Just imagine that. Like, you are immortal. And because he was so successful, he had so much respect, and he knew in his eyes that he was doing everything right. He thought that he had the absolute honor to go talk to God and to take him to court and ask him why he was doing the things he was doing. So when I first read it, it was my first time reading it, obviously, and it was at the beginning of the Bible, and all I could think is like, why would God do this to this upright man? And then yesterday I read it and I said, okay, this makes sense, because now that I read the whole Bible and I know who God is God. We do not get to question him and think that we have the honor to curse him for what goes on in our life. And what I love so much about it, I don't have my Bible on hand right now, but God came and he said, who is this man that wants to curse me and ask me? You know, it was worded differently, but basically that's what he did. He came out of the clouds with a loud roar and he gave it to Job. The problem with Job was, although he was doing everything right, he was so proud. He had so much pride because he had so much respect that he got blinded by the fact that everyone is a sinner. He was sinning by the fact of stating that he wasn't a sinner, and that he thought that he was so good that he could literally go talk to God and question him why he did why God was doing what he did in God's life. See, I wish I had my Bible so I could read to you guys what God said when he came from the clouds. And he had a multitude of questions that Job could not answer. And the stunning part is that I was like, oh, that's why Job got that punishment. Because it doesn't matter how much you know about God. You are not God. You do not get to question what he does in your life. Because if you can see all these amazing things that he's done in this life and you cannot find an answer to how he's done it, we shouldn't have the power or think we have the power to try to curse him or ask him about why he's doing things in our life when we know that we can trust him. He tells us not to be afraid. He tells us that he's going to hold our hand. So if you just hold onto your faith and not try to curse God, he's going to help you. But where you go wrong is thinking that you can ask him and you can blame him for things. That's where you go wrong, is when you think you have the power to do that. And then that's where the blessings are lost. Just like Job, I was like, oh my gosh, it makes so much sense. It's not that he wasn't living a godly life. He had so much pride doing everything right that he lost sight of who God is. And I was like, Ooh, okay. But like I said in the beginning, when I read it, I was just like, oh my gosh, he is doing everything right. He's helping the widows. He's helping the needy. He's giving people clothes. He's doing this. He's doing that. And as you read, he was just a blameless man. And then when I read it again, I said, okay, I get it. We shouldn't ask God why he is doing these things, but what we should be doing, because he is so majestic and so amazing, and look at all these things in this world that he has done and is still doing for us. What we should be doing is thanking him and not blaming him and not cursing him. Everything is not meant to be perfect. Everything is not going to be right, and he tells us that. But what could be perfect is your faith in him and knowing that whatever you go through, he will help you through it. Job is a really good story, and I'm so happy that the reason why I went and listened to Job, because I had a terrible night of what do you want? Oh, that's a big old bug. I had a terrible night of spiritual warfare, like terrible dreams, and every time I post a video that God is working in my life and I put it on social media and I don't keep it to myself, this is my third time of spiritual warfare, like bad. And so when I went to work, I was like, I need to go listen to Job, because Job went through it and I felt like I was going through it. There's so many bugs over here. But now Job's story makes so much sense to me. This is why it is important to read the Bible, because I didn't know back then what I know now. And the point is, we don't get to question God. God is God, and we are mortal. So if you are questioning God, go read Job's story. That'll let you rethink your thinking and just thank him for everything that he does for you, and to hold on to your faith and remember, he's got your hand. May peace be with you all. I had to come back because the most important part is at the end of that, when God asked him these things, like, answer me back. Job couldn't answer him. Just like as if we want to question him, we have no answer for him. And what Job did do right compared to the Pharisees, who feel like they do know everything and they don't need correction and a nudge of being humble, Job was humble. And he said, I only heard about who you were, but now that I've seen you, I know. And when he could admit and he repented to God, he repented in front of God, God blessed him and gave him back everything that he took away, that he allowed Satan to take away from him, and he doubled it. So, don't ask. Just know that God is God. And he will double things for you too, because he is a God of abundance. You just got to trust him. Not question him, but trust him. May peace be with you.